Curated by the people, for the people. CIUT 89.5 FM is the sound of your city.
Aşk havası davamız, günler geçer ağlarız. Aşk havası davamız, günler geçer ağlarız.
Yıllar, nice yıllar geçti de geç yıllar. Nice yıllar geçti de geç yıllar. Nice yıllar geçti de geçmedi deli gönüller. Ağlarız, aşk davası davamız, günler geçer ağlarız.
I'm Maximiliano, and you're listening to Tracks from Abroad.
Hello and welcome to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM. My name is Jesse McDougall. Today is episode number 77 of Tracks from Abroad, and we are going to a new country today. I hope you're excited, and if you're just joining us for the first time, let me give you a short rundown on what this show is all about. We speak to international students or students with ties abroad at the University of Toronto. We talk to them about the places where they grow up, and we indulge a little bit in the culture from those places, talking about the foods, the music, the politics of wherever it may be. Today, everybody, we are learning about Slovenia, and we are doing that with Andrej. Andrej is an international student at the University of Toronto. He goes to the Central European University normally, but he was on exchange here in Toronto, and we were happy to have him. And I remember when I first met Andrej, we were in a class at Robarts, and we had a break during about the middle of the class. He turned around and started talking, and it was clear he had that European friendliness gene because we got along very well. I saw him after that that in every class that we had together. And Andrej also joined me on Tracks from Abroad for this interview, where we talked about folk music from Slovenia. We talked about celebrating one's ancestry, which he felt like he was able to do more so here in Canada. And he also tells us about where Slovenia fits into Europe as a country in the Balkans, despite having many different influences from the surrounding countries. On today's show, you're going to also hear lots of good Slovenian music, something you may not typically hear in Toronto on CIUT. And I want to remind everybody that we are now looking for volunteers for Tracks from Abroad. If you're interested in joining CIUT and volunteering, as I have done for the past 2 years, to make this show as best as possible, you can send me an email at tracksfromabroad@ciut.fm. Or, if you have any suggestions, feel free to email us or send us a message on Instagram at tfa.radio. Now, without further ado, let's get into my interview with Andrej about Slovenia, right here on Tracks from Abroad. Today we're here in the studio with Andrej. Andrej from Slovenia, how are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. How about you?
Pretty well. Nice to have you here. You and I met each other in class, in a course actually about Russian politics and society. Why did you take that course?
I think considering the circumstances, what's happening in eastern part of Europe, it's logical that someone would be taking that class now. But I became interested in Russia even before, did a trip there, work or university related. So I'm personally involved with Russia and wanted to learn more about it.
Yeah. And what other courses are you taking? Because you're an exchange student.
Correct. So I had a lot of opportunities in terms of picking courses because I'm studying politics, philosophy, and economics. The university, my home institution, basically gave me the liberty of picking the courses that fall within all those three categories.
Yeah. Okay, very cool. Now, when I first met you, it was the first class that we had ever had of this Russian politics course. So I walk in, and we had a little break in the middle of the lecture. So I turned around, and there was Andrej. And I don't know if you didn't have your luggage with you, but you were just fresh off the train from Montreal. Tell us about that traveling story.
So yeah, I was all sweaty, but I'm glad you haven't noticed that.
Yeah.
I was Googling online where to leave my luggage because I still didn't have accommodation in Toronto, and I left it like the Hilton in the center of Toronto and came by foot to the campus. Basically, because I wanted to travel to Toronto the cheapest way possible, just to save some money, I bought a flight ticket from Paris to Montreal because it was the cheapest, like Quebec, France connection, cheap flights, everything like that. But yeah, actually then it was not as cheap as I thought, and it was also not convenient, not at all. So yeah, I had I flew into Montreal at around 6, then had to walk around the city a bit, and at midnight I had my bus to Toronto. In the morning I arrived, left the luggage, and went straight to first class.
I think you had told me you were awake for 28 hours or some crazy amount.
Yeah, I'm not a good sleeper when it comes to sleeping on planes, buses, and so on. So I've been awake, and caffeinated, under caffeine sort of thing.
All right. Well, here today on Tracks from Abroad, as you can hear, we have a very seasoned traveler, someone who has been all over the world and is not afraid to take a red-eye flight at some crazy hours. Andrej, we're going to get back to Slovenia here. First of all, is there a Slovenian song that we can start off a first music set with?
Yeah, certainly. I would like to suggest a song that comes from the region of Slovenia where my mother comes from. It's called Prekmurje. It's a folk song, and this interpretation is done by my mother's colleague. It's called Zrelo je žito. So that means the wheat is ripe. It has several meanings, but I suggest we speak about it after you listen to it.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, we're going to play that song and a couple others. We're going to be back right here on Tracks from Abroad. Today we're speaking with Andrej about Slovenia.
Žalostna dekla
Welcome back to Tracks from Abroad. I'm your host, Jesse McDougall. Today we are focusing on the country of Slovenia with an international student right here in front of us. This is Andrej. Andrej, we just heard an interesting song that has a connection to your family. Tell us again about this track.
So it's a folk song from the region of Slovenia where my parents are from, or at least my mother. yeah, as all folk songs, nobody knows who wrote it, and also the meaning or the circumstances surrounding it are a bit unknown. But as far as I know, it involves a woman that's sad and because her husband, whomever, left, and that could have been because of either war, like soldier being away for and leaving the woman at home, or it could be also because the partner went to a big city to work. That happened in this region of Slovenia, like ever since the Middle Ages.
And this region where your mom grew up, have you visited? What is it like, and what do people do out there? What does it look like out there?
It's all flat, which is different than other parts of Slovenia, but in general, it's considered a generally impoverished region of Slovenia, but I would contest that. I don't think that's the case. The language, or the dialect, better to say, in that part is so much different from other parts of Slovenia that sometimes Slovenians from other areas are unable to understand people speaking this dialect here.
Okay, gotcha. And it seems like you're interested in languages. You've started to learn Russian, but also Chinese. So what are the languages that you've practiced?
So yeah, I speak Slovenian, my native language, then English, obviously. I also speak German pretty well. Serbo-Croatian, because a lot of Slovenians speak Serbo-Croatian because it's similar. And then I did also Russian just before the invasion because it's very similar to Slovenian, so it's really easy to catch up. Before that, I also did Japanese for 3 years and Chinese.
My gosh, I didn't figure on Japanese. Was that an elective at school, or how did that even happen?
It was an extracurricular activity in high school. I started it in the beginning, and yeah, it was easier than Chinese. Yeah, I can say that much, but I don't think it is as useful in today's world as Chinese. So I then transitioned to Chinese, but that is just unbearable. You need to devote your entire life to studying it.
Now, when I first met you in class at U of T, you were interested in potentially studying abroad in China. You've already studied in Shanghai for about 2 weeks. You went and visited. But what are your aspirations after U of T?
That's correct. So first I was thinking of doing my master's degree connected with business in China. But considering the COVID lockdown, the Chinese zero COVID policy, and everything that's happening there at the moment, the future in China remains very unclear, especially for foreigners. So I am not sure if I'm going to pursue that. But generally, yeah, as someone who is interested in doing international business, obviously you need to be exposed to the world. So I am looking into options all around the world.
Yeah. And as well, you've gone to Austria to take up the Central European University. How long have you been there? How has that been?
So I enrolled in Central European University in 2020 in September. The first year majority of it was online, or it was always switching. We were switching between online, offline, hybrid, and so on.
Yeah.
But in general, I enjoyed my move from Slovenia to Austria because I did not see myself prospering in Slovenia just because of the size of the country and limited international opportunities. I think that was the biggest reason why I decided to move.
What do your parents do for work there?
They're both pharmacists. So my mother is a pharmaceutical inspector working for a government agency. My father is a lecturer of pharmacology or related subjects at the Faculty of Pharmacy at the University of Ljubljana.
Well, where do you see yourself going? I mean, there's a million places you could go given all the language that you speak, but where would you hope to end up and to do business?
I'm open to all options. I would prefer to stick with the German region of Europe because I'm most comfortable in that kind of culture, like speaking German and everything, but I wouldn't mind having frequent trips to Asia because I think Asia is, not just in terms of China, but I think Asia in all regards is like, I see it as the future of not just business, but also in terms of cultural acceptance and everything.
All right. Well, we're going to come back to some music of Slovenia. We've got another track on the list here. Andrej, what are we in for?
Okay, so this is another song from my part of Slovenia, or my parents' part. sung by Vlado Kreslin, and it's called Tista Črna Kitara, so that black guitar. And we can discuss more about it once you play it.
Sounds good. All right, this is Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM. My name is Jesse McDougall, and we're going to be back with you soon. Today we're talking about Slovenia.
Bil sem še vladek, ko so kot vedno za praznik prišli brkati cigane o hišo igrat. Oče je stopil v sobo po tisto črno kitaro, ki jo je kupil za prvo plačo. Gospod, tisto kitaro še imate, gospod, tisto črno kitaro še imate, gospod, tista bila je res dobra. So ga spraševali še dolgo potem, zmeraj ko hoteli so prositi drobiž, zmeraj ko igrali so vaški gostili in hodili v pavzah do šanka, pa njihove žene, ko prišle so na vrata, po stare oblike so rade vprašale. Gospod, tisto kitaro še imate, gospod, tisto črno kitaro še imate, gospod, tista bila je res dobra. Včasih, ko pridem domov, sedim pod kostanji in pijem s prijatelji, ki tam še živijo. Takrat skoraj vedno pri mizi za nas igrajo in vprašajo otroški obrazi s hripavim glasom. Gospod, tisto kitaro še imate, gospod, tisto črno kitaro še imate, gospod, tista bila je res dobra. Gospod, tisto kitaro še imate, gospod, tisto črno kitaro še imate, gospod, tista je bila dobra. Tista bila je res dobra. Tista bila je res dobra.
I'm a bro from Argentina, and you are listening to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM.
med svetovim, krog za krogom je ti čas. Ko še veš za vse viharje, si razigrana, vendar si sam. In glej, uro za uro je isto vse, dan za nočjo to več ne gre. Uro za uro je isto vse, dan za nočjo to več ne gre. Ko nebo prekrilo najinih sanj, prerojena bova spoznala. Ko nebo imelo pravih idej, spet bo najin čas, da bi sijala. Spet vse bo isto, spet vse bo tisto, kar je bilo. Le srce bo tisto, ki ne bo več čisto, kot je bilo in vse, kar je bilo. Spet te najdem med svetovi in tamle majhna zvezda žari. Nad oblaki se me dotakne, naj svet, ki po svoje živi. In glej, uro za uro je isto vse, dan za nočjo to več ne gre. Uro za uro je isto vse, dan za nočjo to več ne gre. Ko nebo prekrilo najinih sanj, prerojena bova spoznala. Ko nebo imelo pravih idej, spet bo najin čas, da bi sijala. Spet vse bo isto, spet vse bo tisto, kar je bilo. Le srce bo tisto, ki ne bo več čisto, kot je bilo in vse, kar je bilo. Ko nebo prekrilo najinih sanj, prerojena bova spoznala. Ko nebo imelo pravih idej, spet bo najin čas, da bi sijala. Spet vse bo isto, spet vse bo tisto, kar je bilo. Le srce bo tisto, ki ne bo več čisto, kot je bilo in vse, kar je bilo. Vse, kar je bilo. Vse, kar je bilo. Vse, kar je bilo.
Welcome back to Tracks from Abroad. My name is Jesse McDougall. Today on the show, we're speaking to Andrej. He's a student on exchange from Austria, but originally from Slovenia. We're talking about Slovenia today, playing some Slovenian music. And Andrej, you grew up in Slovenia, but you've said that you've become a little disconnected, obviously, given that you've moved to Austria to go to school, and now you're in Canada. What does that feel for you? Are you still connected in any way culturally to Slovenia?
I started to feel more connected to Slovenia ever since I came to Canada, because here people emphasize their roots, whereas countries in conservative countries like Austria, I feel like people hide their roots to be more assimilated, to be treated better. But I feel like here in North America, people are very proud of their roots, and running into a few professors, telling them where I'm from, they all reminded me that I should be prouder of my heritage as I actually am. We and also other countries cannot decide where we belong to. Some say we culturally belong to the Balkans, some others say we don't, and on some maps you're going to find it as part of the Balkans, and others you're going to find it as Central Europe, which I think it's the official designation. So the fact that we've been a country through which many different cultures transitioned through have made Slovenians very open to venturing into the world. Maybe that's also one of the reasons why you're going to find so many Slovenians abroad.
And do you ever envision yourself moving back to Slovenia to live there?
At this point in time, I don't think so. I'm always welcome to go back, and I also frequently visit both my mother's hometown as well as where I've grown up in the capital, but I don't see myself living there for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Now, given that Slovenia borders Hungary, I saw that the school that you go to, CEU, also has a school in Hungary. Now that Orban is tightening up some progressive speech in that country, do you know anybody at that other campus who has been affected by that?
Basically, the entire campus was affected by passing the CEU Lex law. They basically prevented the university from operating. So as far as I know, there is only administrative stuff happening there, as well as people finishing their degree. There are no new students enrolling there, as far as I know, yeah. So basically, university got established in Vienna because they got kicked out of Hungary.
I see.
So it was basically always my intention to go to Vienna because I've been following it was in the process of getting banned in Hungary, and that's why it was all over the news. And that's when I saw, okay, that's an institution that apparently is a thorn in the foot of the Hungarian government. So I saw that it's a potential place where I could contribute a lot.
What do Slovenians think, given that Hungary is just right nearby, about the developments in that country?
The previous government that Slovenians elected was very lean towards Orban. I've written a piece criticizing basically the previous Slovenian government. The opinions of Slovenians are mixed, but as long as the daily lives of Slovenians are not endangered, they're not gonna speak up. I think that's the case everywhere. But when the previous government was imposing these COVID restrictions, I think that's also what contributed to people's dissatisfaction, protests, and then the election of this new government right now.
All right, well, Andrej, it's interesting to hear about the relations in that part of the world, in particular with Hungary. Is there another song now as we go to a music set that we could play from Slovenia?
This is a new one by a also relatively new band. It's called All In. The band is called Luma. I think it's made up by basically university students in Slovenia. So
really?
Yeah, they were in a competition to go to Eurovision. They didn't win, but they captured me with the performance and the song.
Oh, that's exciting. All right, well, listen right here to some university students in Slovenia. Today on Tracks From Abroad, we're focusing on that country. We're here with Andrej. Thanks for coming on Tracks From Abroad.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I bet all in and then we split. Is this the end? You lie instead, then I forget, and then we kiss. You better hold on to me, 'cause you know I care. And when I decide to leave, reach out to me again. I can't deny, 'cause when I do, my heart gets cold. I try to stay and save the game, but luck can turn. You better hold on to me, 'cause you know I care. And when I decide to leave, reach out to me again. All done, all set, tears of regret, I've played my hand. Sick of good beyond your eyes, well, I'll be fine. You better hold on to me, 'cause you know I care. And when I decide to leave, reach out to me again. You better hold on to me, 'cause you know I care. And when I decide to leave, reach out to me again. You better hold on to me, 'cause you know I care. And when I decide to leave, reach out to me again.
You are listening to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM. My name's Jesse McDougall, and I want to thank Andrej, our student this week who came on for the interview. Thank you, Andrej, for telling us all about Slovenia. And we do this every single week on Tracks from Abroad for different countries all around the world. Some recent shows that you can find online as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Google, etc. include Japan, Nigeria, Trinidad, France, and Italy, as well as Indonesia. Here's two more just for fun. We got the Netherlands and Colombia. Those were some really great shows that you can listen to right now by going to CIUT's website, ciut.fm, or going to any of those podcasting platforms. So now on the show, we're going to play a little bit of Canadian music, and frankly, Slovenia is really known for polka, which involves the accordion, and it just doesn't do well on radio. Not one of my favorite genres, to say the very least. And so I was able to come to a bit of a compromise, and I'm going to play some music from 1995. This comes off the album Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette. And you may not recognize that name immediately, but I'm pretty sure you'll recognize these songs. Again, from 1995, this lady is of Hungarian descent, and she was very popular way back in the 90s. So here's a little throwback on Tracks from Abroad today. This is CIUT 89.5 FM.
I'm broke, but I'm happy. I'm poor, but I'm kind. I'm short, but I'm healthy. Yeah. I'm high, but I'm grounded. I'm sane, but I'm overwhelmed. I'm lost, but I'm hopeful, baby. And what it all comes down to is that everything's gonna be fine, fine, fine. 'Cause I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one is giving a high five. I'm sad, but I'm laughing. I'm brave, but I'm chicken shit. I'm sick, but I'm pretty.
Proudly student and listener-supported community radio. CIUT 89.5 FM, celebrating 35 years as the sound of your city.
I had no choice but to hear you. You stated your case time and again. I thought about it. You treat me like I'm a princess. I'm not used to like that. You ask how my day was. You've already won me over in spite of me. And don't be alarmed if I fall head over feet. And don't be surprised if I love you for all that you are. I couldn't help it. It's all your fault. Your love is thick and it swallowed me whole. You're so much braver than I gave you credit for. That's not lip service. You've already won me over in spite of me. And don't be alarmed if I fall head over feet. And don't be surprised if I love you for all that you are. I couldn't help it. It's all your fault. You are the bearer of unconditional things. You held your breath and the door for me. Thanks for your patience. You're the best listener that I've ever met. You're my best friend with benefits. What took me so long? I've never felt this healthy before. I've never wanted something rational. I am aware now. I am aware now. You've already won me over in spite of me. And don't be alarmed if I fall head over feet. And don't be surprised if I love you for all that you are. I couldn't help it. It's all your fault. You've already won me over in spite of me. And don't be alarmed if I fall head over feet. And don't be surprised if I love you for all that you are. I couldn't help it. It's
This is Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM, and this is Jesse here to wrap up the show today. You heard some music from Slovenia. You also heard some throwback 1995 music from Alanis Morissette. And I want to thank our interviewee on the top of the show. That was Andrej from Slovenia. He came to Canada back in 2022, and I was very happy to get that interview with him where we talked about Slovenia, and I hope you learned something new about that country. By the way, if there is any other country out there in the wide world that you would like to hear a show about on Tracks from Abroad, I hope you would let me know and send me an email at tracksfromabroad@ciut.fm. There are so many thousands of international students at our school, and if, for example, you want to hear somebody from Korea, that is a show I actually am working hard to make happen here in the fall. I would love to hear your opinion, and we can make that show come together. So, if you stick on CIUT, you're going to hear Indigenous Waves coming up at 7 p.m., and if you are a night owl, coming up at 10 p.m. is 6 Degrees, CIUT's trademark hip-hop show with DJ Slam and his co-host, Maloney. That's it for me, Jesse McDougall, today on Tracks from Abroad. We will catch you next Monday at 6 p.m. on CIUT or any time on the internet. That crazy thing that is currently pulling our world apart. But at least we got music. So, I will see you all next week.
I'm Aaron Lightstone from the band Jaffa Road, and you're listening to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM.
CIUT 89.5 FM, the sound of your city. Stream us anytime at www.ciut.fm.
Mi nombre es Patricio, del grupo El Seibo, de música folclórica argentina, y están escuchando Tracks from Abroad en CIUT 89.5 FM.
Če sem z njo, sem brez skrbi, ker se znajde med ljudmi in me podpira. Če grem z drugo mimo nje in čeprav istem srce ne reagira, ker je dama, ker je dama, vsak jo spoštuje, saj je dama, moja dama je to. Če jo žalim, če sem grob, mi pokazala nebo, da je nesrečna. Počakala bo ta dan, da spet pridem nasmejan, dovolj bo srečna. Ker je dama, ker je dama, vsak jo spoštuje, saj je dama, moja dama je